This is my review, breakdown and discussion for the brand new episode of The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 10, which put our characters in an environment we're very much not used to seeing them in. What's going on, Walking Dead fans? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Viking. Make sure you give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for a brand new video every single day. This episode was very different. We got to see our group in the Commonwealth, and they're here a few days now, and they're getting used to their surroundings. And you know what? I like this episode because it was so different, because if a random viewer turned on The Walking Dead, they would be like, is this the one about zombies? Because I don't see any zombies. There wasn't that many at all. And it was interesting to see the different class level that the Commonwealth has right now. Like, they had a day kind of party for Halloween for the kids, for the regular people at the community. But then at night, they had this fancy ball where only the kind of rich or the high class were allowed to attend. And I don't like that whatsoever, because it's basically doing what our society is doing right now and has been doing for thousands of years, is different classes, different people, other people are excluded from these type of things. And it looks like that the world has not learned, even after or during a zombie apocalypse, the same thing is happening. And I thought there was some sweet moments in this episode with Daryl, Judith and RJ, because Daryl and this community shouldn't work together because of the way Daryl is. But he looks and he sees how happy Judith is and RJ is and thinks, you know what, this is what Rick would have wanted. This is what Michonne would have wanted. Their kids being happy in a very safe environment. And even though there is some differences in the class, it is a very safe place for these kids to grow up and have a future. I think that's why Daryl is trying to get in with the Commonwealth as best as he can, trying to get on their good side. And we got to see that at the end of the episode, where he gave Sebastian all of the credit. So I can see why Daryl is doing this, and maybe that's why it leads to the future conflict between Daryl and Maggie. But we have a review from tvline.com which goes through the episode, it recaps it. We'll stop it here and there. We'll talk about what we like and don't like about the episode. But here we go. The Walking Dead recap. The revolution will be scrutinized. You know the rule. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. So neither we nor the scrappy survivors of The Walking Dead should have been surprised to start discovering in Sunday's episode that the Commonwealth wasn't all bright colours and baked goods. Beneath its candy-coated surface, it was infected with a strain of classism. And this may be starting a revolution. Read on and we'll discuss not only the dramatic fashion in which we found out about the descent among the ranks, but most everything that went down in the episode titled New Haunts. It takes a minute to get used to it. As the hour began, our regulars had been in the Commonwealth for 30 days. At that point, we as well as they got a taste of the lavish lengths to which the Commonwealth went to celebrate Halloween. Pretty much every holiday we'd soon learn. We also got little insights into different characters' states of mind. Daryl, who along with Rosita was in basic training to become a trooper, was sensibly sceptical at what was unfolding before them. Connie was enjoying being a reporter again, though she revealed to Daryl and Carol through Kelly that she'd interviewed Pamela before the apocalypse and had gotten the governor's uncle kicked out of Congress. Judith made a fast friend of a sweet girl named May, who brought her a Motorhead album. And Ezekiel appeared to be getting ready to kick the bucket, lying to Carol about how good he felt and giving away prized possessions like Shiva's leash. Determined to get at the truth about Ezekiel's prognosis, Carol swiped the hospital janitor's keys and helped herself to her ex-husband's medical file, only to be caught by Tommy. who'd apparently been forced back into service as a surgeon. Rather than rat her out, the doctor revealed that the former king's only chances was surgery, and his odds of getting to the top of the list for knife time were, what's worse than non-existent. But soon Carol saw an opportunity to improve Ezekiel's chances, spying Pamela's assistant Max, telling Lance that his wine wouldn't pass muster at the boss's ball. Carol snuck out of the Commonwealth, dispatched a few walkers in a wine cellar, and offered a few bottles of Primo Vino. What did she want in exchange? Asked Lance. Ezekiel moved way the hell up the list of surgeries, of course. Release the Rotters. Meanwhile, Mercer puts Daryl, Rosita, and a bunch of would-be troopers through an exercise called Kill House, in which they were supposed to show off their speed and teamwork. There were some glitches. Daryl's partner came so close to being bitten by a walker that Mercer had to intervene, but Daryl still impressed Mercer by his ability to take down the walkers. Watch out, snotty Sebastian, as he pretended that he had what it takes to be a fighter of any kind. Needless to say, the brat would have given a walker indigestion during the exercise, had Daryl not stepped in to save his ass. Sebastian's delightful "thank you, why did you do that?" Afterward, Mercer advised Daryl that he shouldn't have stepped in, at least not by putting an arrow through the walker. The Commonwealth could be nirvana for Daryl, the soldier added, if he could get out of his own way. And he was motivated to do so. Both Judith and RJ expressed their desire to stay in the Commonwealth. That evening, at Pamela's ball, the class distinctions between the Commonwealth's haves and have-nots became painfully clear. While Magna was relegated to kitchen staff, lawyer Yumiko and her brother Dr. Tony drank Carol's fancy wine, and Sebastian, Lance, and Mercer were greeted at the door like they were superheroes. After Princess got Mercer's attention, he invited her to make a dull night more interesting by joining him. "Well, there's a dress code," said the doorman with the clipboard. Princess looked adorable, dressed as, well, a princess, but it was like that. Still, Mercer got her in. Past the robe, a familiar-looking waiter begged to speak with Pamela, but was denied access by Max. Who was he? Oh my god. That was the soldier that Princess had beaten up back in Season 10, she realized. What was he doing serving food and drinks to the people at the party? We're putting the world back together the way it was. Soon enough, we learned why Tyler, that was his name, was kind of like a pig in a blanket instead of rocking his Star Wars costume. As Pamela gave a speech about how awesome the Commonwealth was, he cried BS, saying that it most certainly did not care about all of its citizens. Before we knew what hit us, he had slashed the governor's eye-roll inducing new painting of her father and taken Max as hostage at knife point. "I would have died for this place," he yelled at Pamela. "What's my name?" She didn't know, but was eager to fix the situation, to calm him down. In the end, Tyler discarded his human shield and made a run for it, only to be apprehended by Daryl, who gave the capture to Sebastian to stop Jerkface from hate-smiling at him. As quickly as Tyler was marched back through the party in cuffs, he was led away again, upsetting Pamela by yelling that there were thousands more like him. "Resist the Commonwealth. Visibility for workers. Equality for all," he shouted. "Go Tyler, you poor doomed B-word." As the gala started to end, stormtroopers kept Connie from witnessing Yumiko and Max paying who? Well, the crowd that had cheered for Sebastian like he was Timothée Chalamet. Lance told Carol that her wine delivery had been a fine first step towards helping Ezekiel. How many other steps does he imagine there will be for Carol? Rosita was tasked with questioning Magna about Tyler, but Yumako's ex knew little about him and wasn't keen on the Commonwealth's the rich stay rich, the poor stay poor operating system. Ezekiel, continuing what appears to be his farewell tour, delivered to Carol a box that had been Henry's. From there we cut to day number 33 in the Commonwealth, a point at which newly suited stormtrooper Daryl was able to buy Judith a record player with which she could listen to Motorhead's Eat the Rich, and fellow soldier Rosita discovered during a raid a secret room in an apartment that housed a whole lot of resistance movement posters. And that's the review from tvline.com for The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 10. I liked this episode. It was slow in place, it didn't have much action, but I liked discovering more about the Commonwealth. And I don't like the difference in the classes. The rich stay rich, the poor stay poor. I don't like this at all. And also Daryl giving the credit to Sebastian for capturing Tyler. It did seem off, but Daryl is probably right to play the long game, because if you look at where he was living with RJ and Judith, it wasn't the best place, it wasn't the nicest place, so he's trying to get in there more. He's trying to get a job as a soldier so he can pay for stuff for RJ and for Jude and a better house so they can live, because that's what Rick and Michonne would have wanted for their children. So I don't mind Daryl doing it as much, but how far is Daryl willing to go? And I think we'll get to see the first steps of what leads to the conflict between Daryl and Maggie that we got to see at the end of last episode. Also, the Commonwealth paying off some of its citizens to cheer on Sebastian or keep quiet about certain things like the Tyler incident. And that doesn't sit right with me at all. Yes, the governor was a bad guy, so was Negan, but they ran their communities with respect and everybody is fair and honest with each other. And there's a goal to survive in a way. Like, the governor was manipulative in a way, of course he was, but he wasn't paying people off. He was offering them security and protection, and he was the leader of that community, just like Negan. I think if you started the show with the governor or Negan from season 1 instead of Rick, you would like those characters as much as you like Rick Grimes. But it's very interesting. There's so much going on. There's so many dynamics to this. You already see like the conflict starting with Magna and Yumiko. They used to be together in a relationship, and now one is a lawyer going to fancy balls and the other is serving them food on a platter. So it's it's so interesting for The Walking Dead to do something like this that we haven't seen before. Of course, they've gone to different communities like Alexandria, but everyone was even and fair and they got what they deserved and everyone helped each other. But here at the Commonwealth, it's much different. There's a difference in class. And I really liked how Carol, Ezekiel lied to Carol about, I'm feeling fine. And then Carol went herself, broke into the doctor's room or whatever it is, found out that he's not okay and he's very far down the waiting list. So she thought, what can I do right now to help him as I can? She overheard Lance and Max talking about the wine that they have isn't good enough for Pamela. So Carol comes in, she gets this wine. She says to Lance, look, I'll give you this wine if you're able to help my friend Ezekiel. But how far is Carol willing to go to save the life of Ezekiel? It's going to be very interesting. And we also find out that there's a revolution taking place within the Commonwealth. There is many people, thousands, Tyler said, that aren't happy with the way things are ran within the Commonwealth. And now, will this lead to Daryl and Maggie and these characters taking over? I don't know. I haven't read the comics, so I'm not too sure what actually happens. But it's very interesting that the Commonwealth isn't as perfect as it may seem, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes that many people are not happy with at all, and we got to see that with Tyler. If you mess up, you will be demoted, you will get your privileges taken away, and Tyler wanted to kind of stand up to this, but he said there is thousands. And Rosita, who is now a Commonwealth guard as well, found these posters, this room of kind of this rebellion towards the Commonwealth. So it's going to be very exciting to see how this develops. I like this stuff. Yes, there wasn't much zombies and walkers and stuff like that, but I like this kind of breaking down of these characters, finding out more about the Commonwealth. Lance, But Sebastian, who just seems like a terrible person, I hate him. Also Pamela, Mercer, we're getting to learn more about the community, what the Commonwealth is, what is their intentions, and how this is with Daryl and Carl. And Maggie, who wasn't in this episode either, was Negan. But I can understand why Daryl wants to stay and get a job and live there, because it's for Judith and RJ. And now Carl wants to make sure that Ezekiel is okay. Jerry is there with his family. It's a perfect place for them. So I can understand why people want to stay there. But I just don't understand yet why there's a conflict between Daryl and Maggie. What happened? What is going on? And yeah, what is the true intentions of the Commonwealth that leads to people, thousands of people, rebelling against them and not being happy at all? We'll see in the next few episodes. Looking forward to next week's episode. I think it's more of a Eugene episode. Maybe finding stuff out about, I forget the character's name, but the girl he was talking to over the radio, I don't think is the same character that we've seen in the show so far at all. That's just me. The voice seemed different. Maybe they changed the actor. Maybe that's what happened. But we'll have to see how next week's episode goes. Big time. And yeah, just to let you guys know, Rick Grimes himself, Andrew Lincoln, was in Atlanta with the cast. Now, he could have been just meeting his friends, because they're all friends, and they're actually shooting the last remaining episodes of The Walking Dead right now. So he could have been just there as like a party or something like that. But let's just think about it. He could have been there to shoot a small scene for the ending of The Walking Dead, or a post-credit scene for The Walking Dead, or a scene that will tie directly into his movies, which I hope start to shoot pretty soon. So Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, was in Atlanta where they're shooting the last remaining episodes of The Walking Dead. What do you guys think? Did he shoot an episode, a scene, a post-credit scene? Do you think he shows up? Maybe Michonne as well. I don't know if I want him to show up, but the first episode was Rick Grimes. The last episode has to feature something with Rick Grimes. Even just a shot in a post-credit scene, that would be awesome. That would get us very excited for the Rick Grimes movies, because it's been way too long. We've been waiting for years to see these movies and haven't even started shooting yet. So let's see how it goes. I don't think there's going to be a massive time skip at the end of this season. For the last season, I think we're going to see the characters. We know who lives, dies, who's happy and who's not, and stuff like that. But I don't think it will be a massive time skip, because I think eventually in the movies, Daryl, Carl, Michonne will be in those movies. So they'll want to kind of have more to expand on, even though The Walking Dead is ending for this season in terms of the main show. We've got loads of other shows coming: Tales of the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Walking Dead World Beyond, Carol and Daryl, the Rick movies, more shows and stuff like that. So it's very exciting to be a Walking Dead fan right now, even though the main series that we love so much is ending, which is sad, very, very sad. But all things must come to an end. But it's not really ending, because there's more seasons, movies coming, which is very, very exciting as well. So guys, that was my review, breakdown, discussion of The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 10. What did you think of it? Get into the comment section below. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I loved how Ezekiel is, he's giving away his possessions of Shiva, and it's very sad as well, and also the box of Henry. But I love how happy he still is, even though he's dying and he's very, very sick, and he still has a smile on his face for everybody else. So I love that scene so much. But hopefully Carol can help him, and hopefully Ezekiel survives by the end, because he's an awesome character. And I did find it funny how Daryl and Rosita were very good at the Walker House challenge that they had to do. They were better than everybody else, which shows they've been out there for much, much longer than anyone else, and they're great additions for the Commonwealth as guards. But guys, as always, thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, get into the comment section, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next week for the review of episode 11 of season 11. And if not, there's new videos on the channel every single day. Movies, TV shows, DC, Marvel, stuff like that. Always exciting. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.